Next up, we are excited to present our first ever ISTAT AeroTalks. This idea is modeled off of popular TED Talks, and today we will be showcasing 2 ISTAT members' thought leadership with these talks. First, we will hear from Andy Hakes, founder and CEO of AireXpert. Andy is a former aircraft maintenance technician with a deep understanding of the challenges facing aviation professionals. He will speak about collaboration as aviation's untapped advantage. Please join me in welcoming Andy to the stage.
All right, well, good morning. I tend to spend a lot of time talking about collaboration for a very specific purpose and how our industry doesn't use collaboration nearly to its potential. But what I want to do this morning, I want to switch gears a little bit and I want to talk about something that I think is directly relevant to this group, and especially because ISTAT has such a focus on mentorship and creating new leaders. So why do I think that you'll be interested in this? And I'm actually going to ask you if you would be willing to do a little bit of homework. It's kind of presumptuous of me to expect, as an ISTAT first-timer, that you would do homework for me, but I think that you'll agree that it's worthwhile. This is the world's largest team sport. I think that everyone would agree with that, and I think that everyone would agree that collaboration is incredibly important to what we do. So just to take a little bit of a step back in history, so in 1989, I came into the industry and I was an aircraft maintenance technician. And I started there, and now I stand up here in 2025 as founder and CEO of a software company that is essentially all the learnings of everything that occurred over since 1989. And when I was a technician, I thought like a technician, and I've evolved I've had to evolve as a leader or someone who is still becoming a leader. But now I think in a much broader sense, so I no longer think just as a technician. So what does it mean to think like a technician? So a technician tends to go into work every day and think about the machine that's in front of them. They think about how to maintain, how to inspect, how to repair, how to troubleshoot a machine. And then when they finish with that, then they move on to the next machine. Lather, rinse, repeat. And one of the key hallmarks of people who have a technical or engineering mindset is that they like to figure out things by themselves. There's a lot of value. They get a real sense of a reward by being able to figure things out by themselves. Contrast that to how leaders think. And why is this really important? How does this all tie together? Because we knew that there was a pilot shortage, and that pilot shortage has been alleviated to some degree. And then there's the technician shortage, and I honestly don't think we talk about it enough, but at least we're talking about it now. But what we really don't talk about much is the fact that for technical and engineering people who are trying to figure out what the next stages and steps of their journey look like, we just don't talk about that. We need the leaders, and we need to be able to develop those leaders. So if we take people who have a technician mindset or an engineering mindset and try to get them to people who are leaders, one of the biggest things that we have to focus on is the fact that leaders tend to focus on fireproofing and not firefighting. And that's really important. So how does this relate to you? Well, we're all here because of community. We're all here to network. And I'll give you a real world example of the challenge that we face. So a good friend of mine manages a reasonably large department of a US airline, and he's trying to figure out what the next steps and stages of his journey are. And he's doing a lot of the right things, so he's going back to school. He's actually becoming much more intentional and deliberate about how he the projects and programs that he involves himself with, but he doesn't understand the importance of having a trusted network in the way that many of us do. And that's really important. So how can you help? And I think there's a number of ways, but some very specific things that I would ask of you to do when you leave this event, go back to your personal and professional lives, to be able to help this new group of leaders that we're trying to curate. So number one, empathy. Simply recognize that there is a significant technical or a shift in mindset from technician and engineer to becoming a leader. Make sure that they know that they belong, okay? The first time I started coming to events like these, I simply felt that I didn't belong. It was a significant shift. Make people take the extra steps to make sure people understand that they do belong. Really importantly, everyone needs to understand the value of collaboration. That's why we're all here. This whole network thing is incredibly important because we can't do it alone. Really important one, make people understand the importance of simply having conversations, of going into conversations with no expectations other than the expectation of having a conversation. You shouldn't go into a conversation to ask anybody anything other than, hey, how can I help you achieve what it is that you want to achieve? And number 5, most importantly, I think this is the obvious one, encourage them to join groups like this. This is the forum where things get done. It is very difficult for technical and engineering people to remove themselves from the workplace to come to events like this. Make it easy for them to do so. So my ask is really simple. Everyone in here knows how to network. Everyone is getting better at it all the time. Use your networking powers to help others develop their networking superpowers. Thank you.